Welcome to part 7 in our video workshop series. In this section, we'll cover 4 things.
Liability, creating obstacles, easy outs, and multiple lines.
First, we'll clearly define what they mean and then touch on best practices.
This section lays the groundwork for the next, which is about trail structures and maintenance.
As you know, challenge is a part of the trail experience. Riders make a conscious decision to seek out challenges because they're generally rewarding. But if a challenge is imposed on the rider by surprise, then it becomes a risk, and a risk can lead to liability.
What is liability in this context? All man-made structural challenge additions require calculations and design. Don't cut costs by shortcutting this step. Manage the risk and liability by doing it right the first time.
This means you have to understand the strengths and weaknesses of different materials, vehicle loads, snow loads, and watershed analysis. Why? Because any time that a man-made structure is incorporated into a project, the potential risk to public safety goes up, as does the risk and liability.
As long as the designers aren't constructing technical features like doubles, triples, and tabletops that require precise construction and maintenance, the risk is low.
The bottom line is that there is liability in everything. So remember to always mark the man-made challenges with proper signage and warnings. This helps the rider manage risk and the designer manage liability.
Now let's talk more specifically about creating obstacles. Manufacturing challenge features are what a technical terrain course is all about, using whatever materials are available and creatively arranging them into a fun and challenging course.
Materials can be rocks, logs, stumps, tires, culverts, concrete chunks, anything that can be ridden over that's durable. Unless obstacles are intended to move to increase difficulty, like a loose log run, features must be designed to be anchored and immobile. When we increase the variety of features, it increases the challenge and fun factor.
Riding over obstacles is a great way to increase the challenge. The issue with using obstacles is that they can be removed over time through maintenance or by well-intentioned riders trying to help out. Obstacles that are challenge features must be documented in the TMO, and the intent of the TMO must be communicated to the maintenance personnel.
There are 6 elements that can affect the degree of challenge with obstacles. They are size, frequency, stability, traction, location, and position.
Size. Certainly larger objects are more challenging than smaller ones. There are guidelines for size, but in reality, there are too many variables to say that one size is more difficult than another. Again, try to use a variety of obstacles because it enhances the rider's experience.
Frequency. Getting over a single rock is one thing, but negotiating a rock garden is another, as abrupt physical forces direct forward, sideways, or backward.
Stability. Riding over an obstacle that's loose or rolls is more challenging than riding over one that is firmly embedded.
Traction. Challenge increases when traction decreases. So an object that is wet, smooth, or slimy with moss or mud is more difficult to negotiate than one that's dry and rough.
Location. Obstacles on curves are more challenging to negotiate than those on tangents. Losing tire contact or hitting an obstacle that throws the vehicle outward forces the rider to quickly react to keep the vehicle going in the direction of the turn. On a tangent, riders are more likely to see objects approaching and gauge their speed and position appropriately, but that advantage is generally lost on a curve.
Position. Obstacles that are, or have surfaces that are, at an angle acute to the trail tread are more challenging to negotiate than those that are perpendicular to the trail. As the degree of angle decreases, the degree of challenge increases.
So, if you were to put all these elements together, the most challenging scenario would be many large, loose, slippery, and smooth obstacles placed in a curve.
Keep in mind that another obstacle is clearing width. When you keep this tight and narrow, the rider is forced to slow down. By changing the tread width, you can add variety and challenge. A choke is a good tool to narrow the trail tread. Chokes slow riders down by reducing their perception of safety.
Now let's move on to the last part in this section, easy outs and multiple lines. What exactly does that mean? It's simply a bypass or alternate route around a challenge feature. This helps protect the integrity of the challenge feature and allows a group of riders with different skill levels to ride together.
If the tendency is to ride around a challenge feature, why not design the feature with an easy out so the trail team can control and manage the use? Easy outs don't have to be super easy. They just need to be easier than the challenge feature. Easy outs also help protect resources.
Use easy outs or carefully find another route around the technical challenge to preserve the trail's integrity. What's even better than designing easy outs is to design the entire trail as green or blue with technical outs where riders have the choice of staying on a less technical route or riding a more technical section. Then have all the subtrails loop back to the main trail.
Multiple lines. This is another technique picked up from mountain bike riders, and it means designing features with multiple approach lines. This means one feature can offer several different challenge experiences depending on the rider's feeling of safety and efficiency on a given day. Providing challenge features with choices increases the fun factor and decreases tread impacts.
Of course, not all features can have multiple lines. This is a great technique that smart designers should use whenever possible. Another advantage of multiple lines is that one of them could allow a bypass for maintenance equipment, so the more technical lines don't get damaged.
So there you have it. Take a few minutes to review your notes. Make sure you understand the importance of managing risk and liability. Always mark challenges with the right signage.
Also review the 6 elements in creating obstacles and be sure they're documented in the TMO.
And remember the advantages that easy outs and multiple approach lines can provide. Thanks for sticking with us, and we'll see you in the next workshop.